Akanksha Upadhyay. Let's begin with the main stories. Nepali Congress Central Committee members went ayah at party president Sheikh Bahadur Dewa, told they were responsible for the present state of the party. Debate between Government of Nepal and European Union intensifies. EU says it won't take back its comments but open for talks. Hundreds of thousands of protesters are taking to the streets across the US to call for tighter gun control. 800 sister protests planned in the US and abroad. And top seeds Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic crash out of Miami Open. Federer likely to lose his top-ranking position following the loss. Hindu devotees are celebrating the festival of Ram Navami today by worshipping Lord Ram at various shrines across the nation. It is believed that Ramchandra was born to King of Ayodhya, Dashrath, and Queen Kaushalya Devi on this day. Ramchandra is considered as the 7th incarnation of Lord Vishnu. On the occasion, devotees have thronged various Ram temples across the nation, including Ram Mandir of Patisputali and Ram Janaki Temple of Janakpur. And it's now time for the political news. Nepali Congress President Sheikh Bahadur Dewa has been criticized for his working style for the second day yesterday as the party continued the meeting of its Central Working Committee. Leaders who spoke at the meeting yesterday said Nepali Congress reached its weakest point in the history due to decisions taken by the party president against the party's policies and principles. They have also demanded for a general meeting and a general assembly to review on the elections. Speaking with journalists after the meeting, Nepali Congress President Sheikh Bahadur Dewa has said, speaking with the journalists, in fact, Nepali Congress spokesperson Bishwa Prakash Sharma said that the meeting openly dwelt on all related issues in a transparent manner. Senior leader Narhari Acharya also attended the meeting yesterday following a long-time health complications. Meanwhile, the leaders have suggested to reform the party's organizational structure in line with the current federal form of governance. In another meeting held earlier, former General Secretary Prakash Man Singh and Krishna Prasad Sirtaula had said a general meeting and a general assembly was a must in order to review the Nepali Congress's huge defeat in all 3 levels of elections.
महासमितिको बैठकमा एकीकृत भएर पार्टीको एजेन्डालाई लिएर जाने, राष्ट्रव्यापी रूपमा पार्टीको साथीहरूको मनोबल उठाउने यी कुराहरू केन्द्रीय कार्य समितिमा साझा रूपमा आएका छन्।
Preparations are underway to add the number of parliamentary committees in the federal parliament. It has been learned that the number of parliamentary committees are to be increased for power sharing within the Left Alliance, despite a widespread call for keeping the number small so as to assure the party's democracy. The Parliamentary Secretariat had earlier proposed for separate committees for public hearing, impeachment motion and constitution implementation, other than the 7 committees allocated for House of Representatives and 3 for National Assembly. However, attempts are underway to increase the lower committees to 10, which would put additional financial burden to the state coffers. The Parliamentary Secretariat. Now, a situation of debate has surfaced between European Union and the government of Nepal in recent days. After the Nepal government asked EU to correct its recent recommendations, the EU said that it would not change its stand but was open for discussion. The government had issued a statement last Wednesday objecting to what it said controversial remarks given by European Union on Nepal's House of Representatives and State Assembly elections. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs had stated that the comments made by European Union's election observation mission directly challenged the provision of Constitution of Nepal that was promulgated in line with inclusive policy reflective of Nepal's social structure. Foreign policy analysts in Nepal say that this incident is not the first of its kind where European Union has been charged of unnecessary interference in Nepal's internal affairs. Prior to the promulgation of the Constitution from the Constituent Assembly, EU had given controversial remarks about secularism and state structure. A national conference on law professionals is being hosted in Nepalganj. Participants of the conference said Nepal Bar Association should exhibit vigilance in order to strengthen trust towards the judiciary. Participants also stressed on the need of bar's effective leadership in order to free the judiciary of controversies and corruption. In this context, we asked the participants what they think about the passive and ineffective role of bar pertaining to the issues of national interest. Let us now take a look at what they had to say.
Public voice.
बारमा पनि अब प्यानलाइज सिस्टम बढी भयो, राजनीति बढी भयो, यो राजनीति हाबीलाई चाहिँ कम गर्नुपर्छ। बारले आफ्नो धारणाहरू राख्दाखेरि सबैलाई समेट्नुपर्ने र राष्ट्रिय रूपमा राख्दाखेरि पनि कुनै पक्ष नचिडियोस् भन्ने तर्फ बढी सजग भएको हो कि अलि बढी सजगता देखाएको हो भन्ने जस्तो देखियो।
बोल्ने गरेको पनि छ नगरेको हैन, तर केही त्यस्ता बोल्दै पनि केही त्यस्ता तिता अभ्यासहरू नभएका हैन।
बारले चाहिँ सशक्त रूपमा चाहे न्यायपालिकाको इस्यु होस् चाहे चाहिँ यो सिङ्गो राजनीतिक देशको विषयमा होस् त्यसमा बोलिदिनु पर्थ्यो भन्ने हाम्रो चाहना थियो। तर अब मलाई लाग्छ अहिले यो सम्मेलनले यो कुरा सबै पास गर्छ र अब बोल्न सक्छ।
बार आवश्यकता भन्दा राजनीतिक भावनाले बढी ओतप्रेरित छ अनि बोल्न नसकेको हैन, बोल्न नचाहेको।
नबोल्नुको कारण त्यही आफ्नो जाने स्वार्थ हुन्छ नि उनीहरूलाई।
Welcome back. Hundreds of children have appeared for entrance exams for Grade 1 organized by various private schools in the capital. The practice of taking entrance exams from children of such an early age, however, is against the existing Education Act and regulation. Not just in the capital, private schools across the country are recently busy hosting entrance examinations for the new academic session. Parents are seen flocking to exam centers to get their children admission in the schools of their choice. A common sentiment shared by all parents, however, is the fear that if their child would not clear the entrance exams, the practice is as such that even if the children pass the exam, they might not get through the final list, which is why majority of the parents and guardians also seek help from people in power to ensure admission. Parents Association have demanded an end to such a negative hype of entrance exams imposed by private schools that has led to unreasonable panic on the part of students and their guardians. Based on the Education Act, private schools cannot take entrance exams at Grade 1 as it is just a beginning phase of a child's education. Experts are also of the view that it's wrongful of private schools to take entrance tests at such a tender age. Schools, however, have argued that they are having to do so in order to filter the applications as there are a large number applying every year. Experts, however, say that categorization as such at an early age negatively affects child's psychology. Although the practice has been on for years, concerned government authorities have so far turned a deaf ear to it. It's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Today's question: what's your take on private schools taking entrance exams for Grade 1? Your options are A. Commercialization, B. Lack of regulation. The voting for the question is on. You can type NEWS, select your option A or B and send it to 8080 to share your opinions with us. And it's now time for the international update. Hundreds of thousands of protesters are taking to the streets across the US to call for tighter gun control. More than 800 sister protests were planned nationwide and abroad, with solidarity events taking place in Edinburgh, London, Geneva, Sydney and Tokyo. Huge crowds, including a high portion of young people and children, gathered along Pennsylvania Avenue with placards reading "Protect Kids, Not Guns" and "Am I Next?" The March for Our Lives movement arose after 17 deaths in a school shooting in Parkland, Florida last month. Singers Ariana Grande, Miley Cyrus and Lin-Manuel Miranda Miranda, the man behind the musical Hamilton, performed on a stage erected in front of U.S. Capitol building. The crowd started to gather in the early hours of the morning outside the U.S. Capitol. Chants for no more NRA and no more guns erupt every few minutes at random. Gun violence deaths have remained constant through the years and have a major impact on children and teens. Gun-related deaths are the third leading cause of death for children, and approximately 3 million are exposed to shootings each year, according to Everytown for Gun Safety Support Fund, an organization advocating for gun control. We have more news coming up, but right now we'll take yet another short break. The country's tourism sector, which had been on a decline due to April 2015 earthquake followed by Indian border blockade, has recently started reviving. The tourism businesses have anticipated a rise in the number of foreign tourists with the onset of the tourist season this April. The overall booking in the areas including mountain expedition and trekking has recently increased by 20%. The booking of hotels has been particularly exciting, with a significant increment to up to 95%. Nepal is an internationally popular destination for mountain expedition. Businesses related to the field are of the view that the number of tourists visiting for mountain expediting could be significantly boosted given an effective publicity in this respect. Other major attractions for both domestic and foreign tourists are Nepal's geographical and cultural diversities. However, the country has failed to attract tourists as per its potential due to largely being dependent on traditional style of publicity and hospitality rather than adopting the modern and advanced ones. And it's now time for the sports news.
Sports news.
Departmental team Tribhuvan Army Club has clinched the title of National Hockey Tournament held in Janakpur. In the final held yesterday, Army thrashed Sudur Paschim 3-0. Ram Shah, who was awarded the man of the match title from Army, netted 2 goals for the winning team. Shah contributed his first in the 23rd minute, followed by Pradeep Rajbansi in the 50th minute of the match, giving Army the 2-0 lead. Shah struck his second in the 53rd minute, sealing the match 3-0 on Army's behalf, as no team could score in the remaining time. With total 10 goals in the tournament, Shah was also awarded the man of the series title. He receives a cash prize of 5,000 rupees along with scholarship worth 100,000 rather. Winning Army took home 50,000 rupees, while the runners-up Sudur Paschim bagged 25,000 rupees. It has been more than 6 decades that the game of hockey was first introduced in Nepal. However, due to lack of proper infrastructure, the country has failed to produce good hockey players at the same time and failed to develop the sport. We have a report.
The sport hockey gained official status in Nepal with the establishment of Nepal Hockey Association more than 6 decades ago. However, despite such a long history, the country does not even have a single proper ground to play the sport. Whatever limited number of players the country has, they have not been receiving proper training either. Nepal's participation in international hockey tournaments is also very limited. Despite having status of a national sport, Nepal Sports Council has not prioritized hockey in comparison to other mainstream sports and allocates insignificant amount of budget to the sport every year. Many potential players have been gradually shying away from the sport due to lack of even minimum facilities and lack of initiatives on the part of the concerned authorities.
जहाँ हामी बस्छु होटलबाट यहाँसम्म आउने जाने त्यो भाडा पनि पाउँदैन तो त्यो हिसाबले एक्स्ट्रा डाइट चाहिन्छ प्लेयरले त्यो चाहिँ सधैँ छैन तो यो पैसा प्लेयरले आफ्नो गोजुटो लगाएर अहिलेसम्म जुन चाहिँ हकीले जीवित राखेको छ तिनीहरूको इन्ट्रेस्ट छ गेममा अनि राम्रो पनि प्लेयरहरू हुन्छन् तर पैसाको अवस्था नहेर्दाखेरि तिनीहरू चाहिँ अब गोजुटो कसले लगाउँछ भने तिनीहरू अगाडि आउँदैन.
The continuity of hockey was halted several times in the past due to various such factors. In the neighboring country India, hockey has widely been developed for having been backed by investments from the private sector. Such a progress, however, is yet to be witnessed in Nepal, as a lot more is need to be done to develop the sport.
Top seeds Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic has crashed out of Miami Open underway in Miami, Florida. The French player Benoit Paire stunned Djokovic in straight sets. The six-time champion Serbian Djokovic lost 6-3 and 6-4 to crash out of the second round of Miami Open. In another match, top seed Roger Federer succumbed to little-known Australian Sansi Kokoniki. The 175th ranked Sansi won in 3 sets with scores of 3-6, 6-3 and 7-6. Following this loss, it is most likely that Federer might lose his world #1 ranking. Meanwhile, the women's category also accounted for some top seeds as world #1 Simona Halep crashed out of the third round. In the match played earlier this morning, Agnieszka Radwanska defeated Halep in 3 sets. Halep won the first set but lost the next 2 against the 32nd ranked Radwanska. And now, before we wrap up, here's a look at the top stories one more time. Nepali Congress Central Committee members went wire at party president Sher Bahadur Dewa, hold they were responsible for the present state of the party. Debate between Government of Nepal and European Union intensifies. EU says it won't take back its comments for open for talks. Hundreds of thousands of protesters are taking to the streets across the US to call for tighter gun control. 800 sister protests planned in the US and abroad. And top seeds Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic crash out of Miami Open. Federer likely to lose his top ranking position following the loss. That's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will air at 11 a.m. Stay with us for more news and entertainment on KTV HD. Have a good day.